okay? I always talk about the hands in this way, but we have the primary hand and the support hand. So the primary hand is the working hand. The support hand helps me keep a certain amount of safety and security in the position, okay? So usually in the classic De La Riva, my primary hand is by the heel, okay? Or sometimes I'm hugging around the leg. This is also okay. The support hand is usually inside of the knee. This is to ensure that I have forces on both sides of the leg, on the inside and the outside. Okay, so my primary hand here, it starts from a normal De La Riva, and this hand is to the inside of the knee. If I don't have my support hand and I just go for the underhook De La Riva, there's a window of time where Antoine can just kick his leg to the inside. Yeah, he can just kick his leg out. Okay, so that either means I need to be faster, or I could use my support hand and try and minimize the chance of that happening. Okay, so from here, from my classic De La Riva, I have this hand here, which gives me a little bit more time to weave this hand to the inside space so I can get my underhook, and I don't have to clamp his leg so hard. I can relax a bit, and I can still use my support hand until I feel like he starts engaging with me. He's trying to pass my guard a bit, and then we can figure out where we want to place our feet and how to continue from this position, okay? So now we're going to continue to talk about how to keep good body positioning when we're trying to progress in the position, okay? One of the very important things for the underhook De La Riva is to not stay flat on your back when you're transitioning into further stages of your sequences, okay? Most of the sequences that we'll be sharing today start from an off-balancing to the right, since I'm playing De La Riva with my left leg to his right leg, okay? So if I get into my underhook De La Riva, he starts engaging with me. Our first option before was that I weave this foot to the crook of his arm, that I have a cross collar grip from here, I'm stepping down. I'm not also just using my leg, I'm also usually trying to bring my hip slightly off the mat so that his entire structure has to support my entire weight, right? Because if I just use my leg, this is very minimal and I'm isolating the pressure that I'm trying to put on his arm from just my leg. This is not very heavy for him. But if I use my entire body weight, this becomes a lot more stressful for him to maintain this position. At the same time I do that, again, I'm pulling. I transition to this position. As you see, I actually ended the position here. I'm gonna alter the angle a bit. Okay. I ended the position here, but from here I'm quite squashed, and it's very easy for him to push me in this direction. So I end up in this flat back position, and this is not that optimal for me. Number one, to be structurally strong, and number two, I have very limited movement options from here, okay? Even though we could look at this position and think, hey, like it looks quite good to get to a weighted guard position. But actually the amount of time I have in this particular position is very, very short in order to enter that position. It really means that I have to execute the move very well, very fast in order to enter. Whereas, even by just stepping inside of the leg, bringing my leg and my hips a bit further out, notice how I'm on my side body. So you have the entire height of my rib cage laterally here. So if you imagine my rib cage, here, this allows me to keep a certain amount of elevation with his foot in the air. When his foot isn't on the air, I know there isn't weight from that foot going down into the ground, simply because it's in the air. That means most of the weight has to go into his hands, into the far side leg. And the more he tries to push into me, I'm going to push back. Usually that's from the next position that we'll talk about, which is the Jenga position, okay? But for now, try and understand, we want to try and keep our side body as far to the end of the leg as possible, or alternatively, also try this position out by the knee line, okay? Because often what might happen for you when you're playing for the first time, or maybe you're just trying to get a little bit more comfortable with this position, is that your partner might bring their knee to the inside space like this. So you start to kind of just get squashed there, and you start getting scared, you freak out, you're like, oh my God, and you start bailing. Okay, so remember, if the knee is able to come inside, It's because you're only working with your primary hand, okay? In the same way when we just started that Antoine could kick his foot out, is because I didn't use a support hand, okay? So if we go back, understand it, it's a bit awkward in this position to use this hand as support, okay? But there are other ways that you can offer this leg support without doing that, okay? And the support in this position is what I call the Jenga leg position. So once I enter this position, this is followed by a quick transition with this leg. I circle to the inside of the leg. I face a little bit towards me. Pressure me. Like, keep the hands. Yeah, perfect. So in this position, usually I'm trying to line my leg in the same line as his leg. My knee is not going to the outside space, okay? My foot is also stepping to the inside of his stomach and slightly on his hip, okay, as you can see from here, okay? If my knee goes to the inside, this becomes more like an X guard, and depending on the position that I execute this on, it can still feel like quite a heavy position, okay? But notice what I've done actually with my right leg here. Instead of continuing to have a stepping foot, I am reinforcing and helping my top leg with my right, I'm helping my top leg with the bottom leg. So this is what I kind of call the support hand or the support leg rather in this instance, okay? Makes it very easy for me to continue to keep the structure for a long amount of time. If I just use this leg, this can often get very, very tiring. If I wanted to stay here, for example, even 20 seconds, I'm fatiguing my leg. But if I use this one, it's much easier for me also to use this support hand to actually help if I really needed it, okay? But this is just really breaking down the move as much as possible, okay? It's very rare I'm actually using the support hand because I usually get to transition into my following moves much faster, okay? So if we just go back a second, so number one, don't cramp yourself, don't stay flat back. Like even in this position, it's not so good for me, okay? Try and push yourself out. Rather than trying to push your partner away, push yourself up and see what you can do again to maintain their knee line. Initially, if you are worried about the knee going down and you can't get to the Jenga position too fast, remember you can use this leg too. So if you can create oppositional force, and again, look how my knee is basically occupying the space where he can turn his knee inside, usually. It's like I'm almost doing a fake reverse delahiva, but by his hip and by his right butt cheek from here. Because I'm keeping tension and pressure in this direction that I'm illustrating with my right hand, my left leg is also keeping a certain amount of pressure, just very gently. And it's not like a knee bow, for example, but I'm keeping pressure from the outside of his leg and pressure to the inside. So I understand that his leg has to exist in the space in between. He cannot move his knee so efficiently to the inside anymore, simply because I'm occupying that space. So